Evercade on Amazon, $200 Metal Gear Solid. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is freed again. And tonight, another exclusive Arcade1up leak. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week with Shaw, the show where we talked about what happened this week in home arcades, episode 148. So glad to see everybody here, having a ball, having a good time. Lots to discuss, lots of stuff coming out behind the scenes. It's like it's a fire sale. It's all about to go down, and everything's just, it's like a free-for-all. It's absolutely nuts, and it's kind of crazy, and it's kind of fun, really, to be perfectly honest with you. A lot of stuff going on here, too. If you can kind of see, yeah, kind of right there. Kind of see it's off right now, but I got the latest and greatest inside the arcade. It's not 100% yet. It's very, very close. I can't wait to get that footage together for you and get that video out. This has just been a ton of fun. Outrun 2 has been a ton of fun, so I can't wait to share that with you. And I got another full-size arcade coming this week. I'm going to be picking this up, and I can't wait to share that one with you also. Hopefully that doesn't need quite as much work. It's not that this one maybe needed that much work. I'm stricken with OCD. I just got to make sure that everything is just top notch, or at least the best that I can make it. Okay, so talking about what's going on, talking about what we like to drink when we're talking tonight. I'm drinking not Jefferson's and not the Basil Hayden. This is French Oaked Maker's Mark. This is another one of my favorites, one of my go-tos, a reasonably priced bourbon. I cut above the standard Maker's Mark. It is delicious. I enjoy it. Cheers, everybody. Lots to get into tonight. Lots to discuss. Things are afoot for sure. So, okay, so we talked about what I'm drinking. Hopefully, everybody is kicked back with a nice drink. And unfortunately, we probably got to go to work tomorrow, so we've got to limit the alcohol content to something very, very rational and reasonable. Use your head, kids. Don't get all caught up in the Arcade1up leaks and forget who you are, forget where you are, and just start drinking like crazy. I know it can happen. I know it's easy to do. What can you do? But one thing you can do is vote in the poll question. Every single week we have a poll question on this week's show, and this week is no different. The poll question tonight is simply this. Over here in the chat, jump up there, and the question is simply this. I couldn't list them all, because I know there was a lot of leaks that came out over the past couple of days. But of these 4 leaked cabs, which one would you have most likely purchased? Now, we don't know the price. We none of that, right? Don't know the games list and all that. So it's as generic can possibly be. But we know basically what the cabinets look like and at least what the marquee title was going to be. So of these 4, which one would you have been most likely to purchase? 720. Spy Hunter, which was actually the winner on this channel of the driving cab that Arcade1up should have made. That was like the number one. It beat everybody. It was the March Madness of driving cabinets, and it was crazy. But Spy Hunter actually took the title. So is it 720, Spy Hunter, Smash TV, or Paperboy? Paperboy was getting a lot of love in some of those comment sections on Facebook and everywhere. So yeah, I don't know. I thought I'd throw it in there. So let me know what you think about it. 54 votes so far. Jump in there. Vote all show. If you're not exactly sure what I'm talking about, we're going to cover those images, those leaked pictures later on in the show. And then if you decide on one that you maybe would have been the most excited about, you can vote on the poll question right then and there. So before we get too far into anything else, we got to say hi to you, and let's recognize the first 10 comments of the night. Coming in at number 11. This is Ace Hole is number 1. 11:30. I'm sorry, I said the number 11. 11:30 a.m. right after I posted it, very quickly, just on the dot. So Ace Hole is number 1. Coming in the number 2 slot is Wrights Retrocade. Good to see you. And you said second or Decepticon. Decepticon? Okay, sounds good. You're coming in second. Confirmed. Mike Hawkhurst is rocking in the number 3 spot. Coming in the number 4 spot is Frank D. Still haven't finished the Tin Cup. Well, that's good. Pace yourself. Take your time. You don't have to rush. Enjoy it. So I'll be having another glass tonight. It's not bad, just not that exciting. It's the okay-ish whiskey I've ever had. The okayest whiskey I've ever had, if that makes sense. It does make sense. Frank, listen, it's not bad. It's fine. In a pinch, it'll do. But I think based on that review, you're probably going to move on to something else, something a little more memorable, exciting. Like the next comment, which is coming from Bob in the number 5 spot. Thank you so much for being here, another channel member. I'm on the friends board this week at number 5. Hope everyone had a great week. Absolutely. Hope everybody had a phenomenal week. Kind of getting back into the groove here. Looking forward to the 4th of July weekend, which is big here in the States. If you're in the continental United States, 4th of July is going to be a big deal. That's coming up 2 weeks from now. So not next week, but the following week. So that's going to be cool. That's going to be very exciting, of course. Coming in the number 6 spot is Game Broker 84. Happy Sunday, Fox. Hope all is well. Will you be picking up the Marvel Capcom Fighting Collection on Switch or PlayStation 4? Most likely for me, both, as we don't know if this will be delisted again. Well, that's true. It's very possible. That's the funny thing about purchasing stuff digitally. Getting a physical, is it going to pop up? Is it going to go away? I have no idea which version will come out. Is the Xbox going to get some love? Because, this thing isn't coming out for a while. All will be revealed later on in the show, faux show, which is what I'm going to talk about later on. We're going to cover that. And I'm going to give my thoughts on all that stuff a little bit later. And I'm going to also give my thoughts right now on this impactful comment, this chat, this super chat coming in from Kevin Clausen, $5. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat, brother. Really appreciate it. A flawless profile, a perfect body, the right clothes, and a great car can get you far in life, almost to the top, but it can't get you everything. Excellent Wayne's World quote. I wish I had a Wayne's World stinger to give you, but I guess there's only one place you can go, if not, to Aurora, Illinois. It's the pit.
Finish him. Melina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Aurora, a suburb of Chicago. Excellent. I love that movie. Okay, moving on to the number 7 spot is 5, 6, 7, 8. Is this? Are we already 8? Yeah. Dan Z is coming in 6th here. Hello. Is that right? Well, let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so yeah, you're number 8. Dan, you are number 8. I have to make little marks on the page because my brain don't always work so good. So I got to keep track that way. So coming in number 8 is Dan Z for sure. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Yeah. I saw Wayne's World and had a dream that you were Rob Lowe and Michaela was, Cassandra. I was Wayne, of course. So we both scored. Excellent. Very good. Let's scroll down to someone else coming in the number 9 spot is Sir Sega. How are you doing, buddy? Yo, Fox, I hope all is well. The 720 cab was awesome. Wish they would have made that one. I can't wait to get my Unico Nova Blast. Come on, July. Where are you at? Exactly. We need to hear more from from the Unicos. We need to hear more about the Nova Blasts. We have to hear more about this. Give us a little more information. We're excited. We're chomping at the bit. We want some verifications. Making sure everything is still on track because they've delayed it once. Will they delay it again? Who knows? But keep it tuned right here. Maybe I'll be able to give you a little bit more information. Coming in the number 10 spot is Jason, the greatest moderator of all time. Hope you've been enjoying the time off, Fox. I look forward to sharing a lovely beverage this evening. So many of the great people here in the chat. JJ is here. Darth Penguin 66 is here. One of the greatest names, YouTube handles of all time. Gallagher Guy 88. Con Storm Entertainment, buddy. Good to see you as always. Milkman Classic. Okay. Milkman Classic is here. Absolutely. David G. My brother, GCA. What's going on, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Formula Fox, Dark Empire, Steve Brown, Jim the Pacers fan, Vic Fitch 75, Dedicated Day. Oh, the list just goes on and on. Soul Red, how you doing? Everybody is here. Okay, so once again, vote in the poll, kick back, sit back, grab your drink, and let's go ahead and just slide into the first topic. Okay, this is a quick one. I wanted to kind of update what was going on with another thing that I guess is technically in the home arcade space because it plays arcade games at home, and that is Evercade, and really kind of taking it to Arcade1up, competing at the countercade level. I guess it's the way you do it. Maybe you don't jump right into the 3/4 scale. Maybe you want to hit them at the countercade. Maybe let's go with something like a countercade or a partycade. Start there, compete in that space, and then maybe we can go on and push forward and then try that 3/4 scale market because I know it could be a little bit intimidating. Faux show. But let's go ahead and talk about the latest and greatest development. So this is a UK-based company, so it's not always easy to kind of get these things. Some of these releases are elusive and hard to find. So I've got a retailer up in Canada that I use, and also Amazon has been coming to the show, bringing some games. Not all of the games, not all the accessories and some of the consoles, but they've been bringing some of the games. Amazon has come to our rescue once again. This is the U.S. Amazon, and they actually have the Alpha, but they've had this for a little bit. What we saw this week was the price, not really reduction, but meeting the other prices out there in the market. So now your options are pretty much, they're all on even playing field now. If you want to go with Video Games Plus up in Canada, they've got some pretty aggressive pricing. It's a retailer that I'm familiar with. I like them. They do a pretty good job. But the price is now $229 for the Evercade Alpha, Street Fighter, and of course the Mega Man editions. $229, not bad. Not bad at all. And of course, the release window, you're looking at November 28th of 2024, as far as, we knew November, but they're giving us kind of a late November timeframe on Amazon, just in case you were wondering, just in case you were curious. Now you can go on Amazon and get these things. Now, which one are you getting? There's a couple different flavors of this bad boy. Well, now we're talking about not the deluxe version with all the super cool stuff. This is the pretty cool stuff. So it's not super cool, but it is pretty cool. Yeah, you're going to get the power adapter, and you're going to get 3 interchangeable marquees, and of course the base unit itself. The ability to play Street Fighter Alpha, it's still pretty cool. And I don't want to knock the Mega Man games over there. I don't want to knock the Mega Man console. It's got its own great list of games, much more variety there. Obviously, heavy emphasis on Street Fighter with the Street Fighter 2 version. But to be able to get all of Alpha, all the games on there, all the Alpha games out there, is pretty freaking cool in this kind of form factor, this Arcade1up Countercade form factor. It is dead on. It's not a copy, right? But it's definitely competing at the exact same level, with the addition of the Evercade cartridge, acceptance there. Being able to play those cartridges really opens up that library, something you could never really do officially with Arcade1up. There were some hacks out there. There's some things that you could do to add a few more games, but it was always cumbersome. It was always hacks. It was always, listen, if you do it proceed at your own risk, right? We had some great Team Encoder comes to mind, some great people out there hacking away, making the impossible possible. But this is something that's just plug and play, right? If you've got a tower of games like I have over here, these Evercade cartridges, there's a lot of different games out here. You got the Duke Nukem collection, obviously, but there's a lot of cool arcade representation on these cartridges too. So you can absolutely kind of get your fix on that countercade scale. But just wanted to keep that out there, let everybody know that is going on. So you can go over to Amazon right now and pick that up. Or not, you can't pick it up right now, but you can pre-order for $229, a pretty good price, I think. Now it's still a little bit higher than the countercades out there, and some people said that the countercades were always a little bit higher price. This thing is coming in at it's the same sort of form factor, roughly the same price point as that $199 one-player Mortal Kombat variant that they just came out with. Of course, this is going to have the lip marquee, interchangeable marquees, but the big thing for me is the included games. So you don't have to, or you have to get any carts if you don't want to. That's fine. You don't have to do that. But the ability to add games, legit, is definitely a huge plus. It's something that you really couldn't get. You just really could not get it with the Arcade1up at all. Another thing you couldn't get from Arcade1up, and you couldn't just get randomly. Not everybody gets this, but today I get this. I get a $2 super chat from my brother, P-Dubs, Arcade Love. Congrats on 10K subs, 10K Fox. I guess I got to quit when I get to 19K. I was able to roll past 10K this week, or last week, I'm sorry. And it hit me a little harder than I thought it would, because you've been doing this for a while, been doing this for years, and ups and downs, pluses and minuses. It hasn't been perfect, it hasn't been smooth sailing, but it's been a hell of a ride. It's been a lot of fun, and by no means am I saying that it's over. But 10K is a great milestone, and I'm excited to keep pushing forward and moving on. And speaking of the 10K subs, which is something I put in my notes, but I forgot, I neglected to read this. Beat-ups, thank you for reminding me. Is that now we get to have next week the 10K giveaway live stream. Usually on these big milestones, I'll have a giveaway live stream, and I just give away merch from my store, so it's nothing crazy. But if you're interested in getting maybe a t-shirt or a hat or something, make sure you tune in next week, and we're going to talk about the normal topics, but we'll also do some giveaways, sprinkle them throughout the live stream, usually 5 to 6 to 7 giveaways throughout the live stream. So I think it's a lot of fun, and it's a small way that I can kind of give back to the community and just say thank you so much for subscribing and putting up with me and tuning in all the time. It's great. A lot of fun. You know what else is fun? giving a little dance to my brother P-Dubs. Here you go, buddy.
Vanilla ice.
That's right. That's right. You paid good money for those jams, but I got to tell you, $2, you probably overpaid. Let's hope this guy doesn't feel the same way about his $2 super chat. Stringer Films, thank you so much for your $2 super chat, brother. Made me proud. Rebuild that K7000. You can do it. You can do it now. I will make this promise to you. That K7000 will not be discarded. That K7000 will live on. That chassis is currently en route to be repaired. That cabinet will live on. And I will say this right now. For all of you who watched that video about the Die Hard cabinet, tough choices have to be made. I opined about doing this and doing that, but I am not going to cut that cabinet up. I'm not going to part it out. I'm not going to take out the board and take out the monitor. I put a lot of effort into that, put some money into it. I'm going to leave it completely whole. So whether I keep it or sell it, it will remain intact completely. And if I want to get another board later, I'll do that at some other time. But right now, I just feel like that collection of new parts, rebuilt monitor, brand new transformer, isolation transformer for that, brand new artwork, controls, that's all I don't want that to be wasted. So like I said, whether I keep it or I sell it, it will stay completely intact. So I hope, Stringer, that makes you proud. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat. I always appreciate the love, and here you go.
Let's go. Wolverine win. Rookie.
Okay, so moving on to something else that is not arcade. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I know this is not home arcade related. We're going to breeze through this real quick, but it's something that I have to talk about. This is my favorite console game, I think, of all time. If you add up the hours that I've spent, it is the one game that I've probably given the most time to. Now, there's a lot of games out there that I've given a lot of time to, but this is the one this is the series that I've given the most love to, and that is Metal Gear Solid. And, as much as I love Metal Gear Solid, damn, okay, they're not, Konami, I guess, is hurting for cash. They're going to milk this for all of it's worth. And you know what? I am not mad at you. So the latest and greatest is that you can now go and pre-order over Best Buy. I'm sure Amazon has this too. You can go over to Best Buy and you can pre-order the game itself. Now, they used to have a release date of, I think it was early 2025. I think is what they were. No, I'm sorry. It was actually this year, 24. But they've since deleted that. So I who knows? A lot of you said in the comment section, hey, listen, if there's no release date, I'm not going to pre-order. I don't fault you for that. So it's available, just letting you know. But one thing that is really piqued my interest is the $200 collector's edition version of the game. Now, what's going to be included in the collector's edition of the game? Well, a lot of stuff that you do not need, but I'm absolutely freaking out about it. So this thing looks great. So of the Metal Gear Solid games, I think that probably Metal Gear Solid 3 for me is my favorite. I just really just love it. And honestly, I haven't been able to get into 5. I haven't been able to do it. I know it's Hideo Kojima, but it wasn't David Hayter doing the voice, so I just couldn't. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have to do it because I have to complete this. But this is my favorite game of the entire saga, right? And so this is what you're going to get. Obviously, this big collector's edition box, right? You're going to get. There's a lot of callouts here. So in the game, Snake is famous. This is Naked Snake. This is Big Boss. This is the original, right? He's famous. He famously does a dive. This is the first Halo dive. This is the first recorded Halo dive, which is a high altitude, low opening dive. So there's a patch for that. There's a patch for, of course, Fox, the group that he was with. So, come on. I got to have that. There's like some kind of, it's a ID lanyard. So that's kind of cool. The steel book box for the actual game disc itself. And then, of course, the completely unnecessary, but the thing that I absolutely love is a little terrarium. This is the very beginning of the game where he's got to go retrieve his satchel. And it's a great way for you to kind of get used to the mechanic of climbing up trees and all that. So he's on the codec and he's about to go get his satchel. It's so freaking cool. I know it's stupid. I know it's $200. And I also do not care. I'm absolutely going to get it. So the great thing about that, I think, is that because it's not available yet, they're probably not going to make it available until we have a release date for the game, I guess. So that's good. So whenever this bad boy becomes available, I guess we'll probably get a release date for the game. So we may have to wait a little bit, which is good. I need to kind of save up, maybe stop buying other things in preparation for that. Because I mean, if that comes out this year, it's going to be a hell of a year for me, because I got 2 more arcades coming, real arcades coming. I got at least one more sweet Arcade1up mod that I'm working on. And then if that comes out too, I don't know, I may be good. I may be absolutely done, checked out. I mean, you will see me, but I may be red-faced or red-eyed and just glazed over. And it's just going to be, I tell you, it's going to be sad. It's going to be rough, but it could be a hell of a week or hell of a year for this guy. So with that stuff out of the way, let's talk about Marvel vs. Capcom 2 being freed again. Yes, now freed for another time. They've refreed it, but now it's freed again. It's super freed. It's free bird. It's the they just keep going. It doesn't ever stop. It continues being freed. What are we talking about? We're talking about the release of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on modern quotations, modern home consoles. This is, and listen, I'm just gonna be honest with you. If you were a kid I'm not even gonna say a kid, if you were a fan of these games in the late 90s when the Dreamcast came out, and you could get Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and you could get Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on your Dreamcast. But the other games, if you wanted the best home ports, you had to get them on Saturn, and most of those were imports. They weren't all released into the States, so you had to really kind of do some freaking gymnastics here. Now remember, this is the 90s, so it wasn't as easy to get your hands on foreign consoles and foreign games, so it was a little bit tough back then. So the dream was always, man, if they could just put all those fighting games on one disc, if they could have them on one, or at least release them all, and I would buy them all and have that collection, have that box set sitting on the shelf. That would have been badass. That would have been incredible. And for so many people, it was just like, well, that's never going to happen, And for the longest time, when we thought that it was going to happen or should have happened, it didn't. And you could download these ROMs and you could have all this. If you had any kind of a CPS2 emulator, you could rock this all day long. And then if eventually the Naomi game, the CPS3 sort of ROM or a CPS3 emulators that came out would run this, and so you could get your hands on most of these. But Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was definitely a little bit elusive. It was a little bit hard to get your hands on. One of the purchases that I made in 2008 or 9, can't remember which one was that beautiful, gorgeous HD release on PlayStation 3, maybe Xbox. I'm not sure. I'm a PlayStation guy. I don't know. But on the PlayStation 3, I still have it on this hard drive, is that HD remake of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And it was beautiful. It was lovely. And I played the hell out of that too. And like I said, I still have it. But the desire was always to get these games together. So Arcade1up kind of does the impossible. And they're able to bring this to us, this exact collection, with a couple goofy, console games, which is fine. They were trying to round out the number. I guess they were trying to go for a number of games. I don't really know. We didn't get Punisher, which we'll talk about in a second. But it was still a really good games list. And Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was freed, right? And that was the thing. Everybody was saying, we freed it. It's available. You can actually go out and get it. Kind of. It wasn't always decadent, Dave. Because you got to be high to pay $200. Well, maybe. Yeah. This is how collector's editions works. It always did. That's why we don't need it, but we won't be whole if we don't have it. See, Mike, you understand. Moat understands. Moat gets me. Yes, it's completely unnecessary. It makes no sense. I mean, you don't even need to buy the disc anymore. You could just download it, right? But there's just something about having not just the tangible game itself, the disc itself, but having that ridiculous over-the-top collection. Listen, and we're also the type of people that still have, I mean, some people would think you're odd if you have consoles that you don't play anymore. I got a shelf over there with consoles that I don't play. I got shelves over there with consoles I don't even play anymore. But I am a big Metal Gear Solid fan, and if you make something Metal Gear Solid, I'm going to be a sucker. I'm going to buy it. I got the Big Boss Edition PSP over there with the rose-colored gaming Metal Gear Solid stand. Over here, I got the limited edition Metal Gear Solid 4 PlayStation. Absolutely love it. It's just who I am. I'm a sucker is what I am, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We're all among friends here. But So you got this cabinet and it comes out and it's not perfect. It's got some issues, got some flaws. It advertises online gameplay, but that really doesn't go off very well, does it, kids? A lot of problems there, a lot of issues there. But for some of us, offline play was enough. But then again, you have to remember something. The barrier of entry. I mean, to get this collection, you had to pay at the time $600. $5.99. Now, eventually, you could find that the X-Men 97 cab was going to come to market at $4.99, and that was better, but it's still a $500 barrier of entry. And a lot of people were happy that it was free, and a lot of YouTubers and people in media were like, they were happy that it was free, but it wasn't really freed. It was freed, but it wasn't really to the masses. Because you have to acknowledge that even though Arcade1ups are fairly small, not everybody is that committed to buying it. And that wasn't necessarily the form factor they wanted. And it wasn't necessarily the quality and the experience that they wanted. Now that has completely changed. And we have this collection. It's going to be available on your PlayStation 4, which you should be able to, you should be able to get the PlayStation 4 disc, put it in your PS5. And I guess it's going to, depending on how it's set up, it will download the digital version for you and save it to the hard drive. And then as long as you have the disc inserted, you should be able to play it on your PlayStation 5. That's the way some of the games have worked back in the past. And of course, Nintendo Switch. Now, before we move on, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is Punisher. Punisher being a great complement to this beautiful list of games. Also, Punisher being something that we were told could have never been included on this from Arcade1up, because I think many of you out there were like, listen, instead of giving us these console games, why don't you give us Punisher? I mean, that's another Marvel game, Marvel/Capcom game. Throw that on there. That's better than having those stupid console games. No. Disney and this and that. And we've heard all these sort of excuses and reasons why. Well, it's a toy. And so, they can't do it because it's a toy. Well, okay, that's fine. But why can't, and this is just, just me. But when I buy a toy, on the bottom right-hand corner, on the back or somewhere, there's some kind of decal sticker or something that tells me the ages that this toy is recommended for, like not recommended for ages 3 and under. And you get the sad onion because there's a choking hazard or whatever. Why couldn't they just put that sticker on the back of this toy and call it a day? I mean, it's not going to be an MSRP rating like a game has, like a disc has, but it would have definitely been a separate toy rating or thing, that could have denoted, hey, listen, this is for teenagers only, whatever age group you want to put this for. Because, oh my God, Digital Blood. It's funny how we've never gotten past Mortal Kombat, where we had the government involved in video games. Video game blood was a huge problem. But you had movies. I'm not going to rehash that. Move on. So I don't understand that portion. That explanation makes no sense to me. But Capcom said, to hell with that. We don't care about that agreement. We're done. We're not going to have silly other things on here. We're going to add this to it. I think it's a great addition. Now, honestly, if you want, my heart wants Alien versus Predator because I want a versus collection. But I acknowledge this is a fighting game. But I also acknowledge that Punisher is not a fighting game. But Punisher is Marvel. So I get it. This is a Marvel compilation. Fine. Okay. I get it. Yeah, sorry. Too soon, Fox. Or come up with, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Sub Fox, long time, been super busy. I had to set someone straight in a 1UP group. Obviously didn't know who you were. Called you a YouTube teeny bopper. I posted for them to view your channel for leaks. And I think that you should take that person and say, thank you. If I'm a teeny bopper, they probably need to get their eyes checked. But I'll take the compliment just the same. I appreciate you sticking up for me, brother. As always, we got to stick together. So this makes sense. But like I said, my heart wants Alien versus Predator. I want a versus collection. Now, in my supposed versus collection, you're going to have, other versus games. SNK versus Capcom, maybe. What was the other game of Toshiyaku? It started with a T. Versus Capcom. It was, I forget, Toshimitsu, all of them. Put all the Versus games on there. I know that would be probably a licensing nightmare, but Capcom could do it, I think, and give us all the Versus. If it had freaking Versus in the title and Capcom made it, put that together and watch our heads explode. That would be great. Because I'm worried about that word right there. Tatsunoko. Capcom versus Tatsunoko. And that was a sweet game. That was really fun. But the gray doesn't give it away. I get, Hi, kids. Hello, fellow kids. I am young like you are. Mike, right? Put that in. I mean, listen, you're talking about a versus compilation. That would be incredible. That'd be insane. Now I know that maybe publishers, that may be an issue. But yeah, so my heart wanted Alien versus Predator. The last thing I will say in defense of Alien versus Predator being on this, Marvel did an Alien comic and a Predator comic. I don't know. I know it's not a fighting game, but it is Marvel-ish, right? I don't know. So this is awesome, but what is it going to cost? Who's it going to be available for? What system is going to be available for? Well, here you go. You're going to have the ability right now to go to Best Buy. You can also go to Amazon. They're the same price. $50 is going to be the price to get this thing physically. That's a big thing for me. This is not a digital purchase. It's a physical purchase. $50 for a game disc, PlayStation 4 game disc, or a Nintendo Switch cartridge. Now, here's what I'm going to do, because here's what I have. I have the original Fighting Collection. So digitally, I'm okay with buying it on Switch digitally, because I got a big old micro SD card in there, and I travel for work. I don't want to bring a bunch of cards with me. So I will buy it digitally for my Switch and play it on my Switch. But I'm going to get the physical disc, the PlayStation 4 disc. I'm going to have that. I got to have that because I have the physical disc of the other game, the Capcom Fighting Collection. I've got that one too. And I'm going to buy them both, because I think that while I have it, I have two. It's funny. I have two cabinets. I have freaking two Arcade1up cabinets with these games, and trust me, one will not remain. But still, I've got the one cabinet, and I just love it. And listen, Moat can attest to this. I ain't the best fighting game guy. You will mop the floor with me. I am cannon fodder. But it's fun to have somebody to kick around, right? But I just love these games. I absolutely love the art style of the Street Fighter Alpha. That art style, those sprites are just beautiful. And then when they transfer that over and include those Marvel characters, I absolutely loved it. So I'm so excited about this. And yeah, I'm going to buy it up. Now, what does this mean for Arcade1up? What it means is Arcade1up will probably make no more money moving forward, because there was a segment of the audience that got this cabinet because it was the only way that you could legitimately get it. Now, I have it on Dreamcast. A lot of you have it on PlayStation 2, but it just wasn't quite the same. Now, I think that this is another thumb in the eye from Capcom to Arcade1up. As far as, listen, you are just another licensor or licensee or license holder or whatever. Maybe you have our license, but you're not important. You have no exclusivity whatsoever. That has been completely blown out of the water. Evercade is getting titles that they don't have. And now we have this going to every single mainstream console out there. So anybody and everybody can play this. And when you play this online, you will have a much better experience. It's a much more robust system. It has the infrastructure of Sony and Nintendo. So you're not going to have the issues we had with Arcade1up. To be fair with them, they just can't compete. There's just no way. And with all the different filters and options and the one-button finishers, there's just nonsense in there. And I love all of it. I can't wait to play this thing and experience these games all over again, sitting on my couch on my big screen TV. But I will not take away what Arcade1up was able to do. And for a time, it was great. And for offline play, it definitely scratches the itch of a lot of us that aren't going to be able to find that cabinet and do that, the way that it probably should be done. To get that Naomi system and to get that, that Dynamo cabinet and put it all together, it's tough. It's expensive. It's hard to do. So it's great that these games will live on in a digital format. I think it's great. But Arcade1up, once again, this is another thing that, this is another knock on the door. This is another nail in the coffin, maybe, perhaps. Maybe it's all over. I don't know. But if nothing else, just because Arcade1up, some company doesn't win, that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. What matters at the end of the day is that we win. Absolutely. And winning is the bestest ever. And I always love it when the actual consumer wins because, that's why I wanted somebody to compete with Arcade1up for so long in this space, because competition means that we win. And the way we show others our appreciation for winning is super chatting. Here's another one. $2. Kevin Clausen, thank you so much for $2 super chat. What's better than taking a compliment? Taking a super chat. Thank you so much for your super chat. Really do appreciate it, brother. And have a play. No, you know what? Gotta play this one. Here you go. Take a sip of the drink. Vote in the poll question. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. We're going to talk about my leak. We're going to talk about Mike's leaks. Then we're going to talk about one exclusive leak I got for you tonight. You ain't seen this one before. This one, it's a doozy. So, kick back, grab a sip, and let's talk a little bit about what's going on. Yeah, right? They did. Because I was talking about this. I was getting all fired up, and everybody's like talking me off the ledge, right? Fox, come on, Fox. They're not going to do that. We're like, calm down. Just cool your boots, buddy. Cool your jets. Sit down. It's all right. And I had to look them up again just to make sure. I'm like, yeah, they did comics. Marvel did comics of Predator and Alien. I think Dark Horse did the Alien versus Predator comic. So that would be different, right? That would be kind of a, something else. But yeah, Marvel did them. Marvel absolutely did them. Why not? Why not? This is going to be a kick-ass collection. To get them physically, it's killer. AVP will probably be on the next release from Capcom. Let's hope so. Let's absolutely hope so. Let's freaking hope so. Damn it, man. I mean, I know not everybody is into it like I am, but if fighting games get the love, and I know why, and I appreciate it, but damn it, dude. Get those beat 'em ups out there. These are incredible, recognizable IPs. Predator, Alien, Capcom. Do something. And it's just got to happen. Here we go. Power Stone Collection and Capcom vs. SNK would be next. We already have Alpha 3 and Third Strike on modern consoles with online play. I agree. I think, Mike, that's probably where they need to focus, is bringing the games to the masses first in some kind of a downloadable configuration, content, whatever. Focus on the games that have not been done before. We've had these other iterations. Wait on that. Come back to that at some other point. But bring us some of these titles. Jump through the hoops. Get the licensing, because I know AVP was officially released from Capcom in the UK. I had to go buy that home arcade fighting stick thing. That was the only official release in the that I'm really aware of outside of the arcades, obviously. And I have the arcade boards, but that's not the point. We're going back to the masses, and how does everybody get a chance to play this? Speaking of the masses and everybody getting a chance to play stuff, let me scroll down, make sure there's nothing. They got the Alien versus Predator. Listen, you're speaking my language, Arcade Dave. Alien versus Predator with Cadillacs and dinosaurs. 3-player ROMs. 3-player. Even if you do like PlayStation, 3-player ROMs, baby. You get both those rocking. Now, I would absolutely love if Arcade1up had the foresight to take those two games and put them on, make a 3-player, arcade, like they were, like that little leak, image we saw, and maybe throw in some Knights of the Round or whatever, all the 3-player games they could find, right? And put that bad boy together. I would not be mad at them for doing that. And if they can keep that at the $500 price point, damn, look at me. I'm buying another Arcade1up. Funny how that works. But yeah, put that together in some kind of a digital download format. Put it on the stores. I don't really care. What's up, Messiah? Good to see you, brother. How you doing? Okay, so let's get into it. So let's talk about some of the discrepancies you may have noticed between my leak and Mike's leaks. Let's just call it what it is. I came forward with a single image as a teaser, a little droplet of information to kind of get everybody talking, and then Mike got excited. Michael B got excited. He's Canadian. Give him a break. And he was like, boom, let me hit you with everything. And we were like, whoa, what is he doing? Well, one of those images was actually an image that I shared with you, and it was 720. And then you can tell my image is on the left, and I cropped out one of the cabinets because I wanted to I didn't want to dress that. I wanted to focus on the one for that time. But Michael B hit us with the left and the right, and he just came out swinging. So here's a complete image. The one that he showed you is actually the image that I had. I just cropped out Tetris / Cubert for the time being. I wanted to do that and focus on that. So there's 720. We talked about that. I was very, very skeptical about this coming out, but I think that they did it justice. I mean, it is what it is. Also a feature that really wasn't, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Michael B is the one-upper. He's been doing this for a long time, baby. He's been doing it for a long time. One thing to take note of is that, and I don't know if he mentioned this, and I think I forgot to mention in my video, these speakers above, that was actually intended to be a Bluetooth speaker. That was additional functionality built into this. So not only were you going to have the game sounds, but you were going to have the ability to use that as a Bluetooth speaker. Would that have actually happened? Now, once again, these are prototypes, and they were talking about a bunch of different stuff. Remember that they were also talking about the way to make Dragon's Lair happen with the extra little DMD. You were going to have your phone. Your phone was going to be the second screen to show display your score. And I don't think that would have worked out very well. So there was a lot of ideas that didn't happen. I'm glad they didn't do that with Dragon's Lair. That definitely would have been kind of weird. And maybe this would not have happened when they got down to the nuts and bolts of it. Before this went out to retailers, maybe they would have skipped that. But the Bluetooth, that speaker pod on top would have actually been a Bluetooth speaker as well. Game sounds or Bluetooth speaker, vice versa. It would have been kind of cool. I think they probably were trying to mimic the iArcade jukebox function. I don't know what they would have done as far as would that display the song that was playing on the screen? I have no idea. But interesting to hear that was kind of the way where their head was at. But if nothing else, if it just was the way it was, I dig this cabinet. And if this is a $500 cabinet, it's sick. I always love those skateboard games from back in the day. TNC Surf Designs on Nintendo. Come on, I loved it. And this would be another one that I probably would have picked up just for the uniqueness of it, because you want variety in your arcade. So that was cool. But yes, so the original image that he showed you was legit. That was the image that I had. I just cropped out Tetris for the time. 720. Let me know in the comment section and vote in the poll. The poll question is still up. Which one of the four that I listed would you be most excited about, or would you have actually purchased? Moving on. Now, this is interesting. Once again, I've seen all these images before. I just wasn't allowed to share everything. There's a procedure. Okay. We got to check things. We got to check and recheck. You got to have some journalistic integrity before you just put stuff out there. And so we all had to check everything and make sure we were good to go. But once again, just like Mike B showed off, the Spy Hunter cabinet, another sit-down racer. The steering wheel is sick. This is based on the Outrun cabinet, obviously the sit-down Outrun. I absolutely love this. Now, remember, we did our poll question. Or no, I'm not our poll question. We did our no NDAs here. No NDAs here, buddy. Just leaks. We want to make sure we don't get our sources in trouble. But no NDAs here, brother. I let it fly. Others maybe can't say that. But we had the March Madness, and on this channel we do March Madness competitions where we talk about, okay, what cabinet would you actually want, and I put 8 cabinets head to head, and we go through it like a bracket, like a basketball, like your March Madness bracket, but we do that for arcades. We did one for general arcades, and we did one for driving arcades. We're gonna have to do one for shooting arcades too. But this beat out everybody. Spy Hunter killed everybody. I mean, Daytona, Crazy Taxi, you name it, it killed them all. And it was a great thing to see. I like the look of this. I would have liked I think they should have just done the stand-up, squared off arcade. Because I think that, so, but I think they should have just done that squared off arcade. I know it's a simple look, but I think that works Arcade1up's benefit. It would be cheaper to produce, right? But it was iconic. And so while this is kind of cool, I definitely would have loved to see that iconic squared off rectangular sort of design. I just think that would have been cooler. But this, I would have been absolutely excited about this. What other games would they have had? And that's the thing. You kind of spoiled about this, and it was something that in the beginning, it wasn't necessarily a problem. When talking about fighting game cabinets, it's not really an issue, right? Just put a bunch of games on it. They're all fighting games. Who cares? They're all 6-button, fighters. Who cares? Throw them on there. But when it comes to specialty cabinets, this is where you kind of get in that funk of what else do you put on it. Now, in my March Madness where we did this, all I had was Spy Hunter and Spy Hunter 2 on the cabinet. I didn't want to try to even put anything else on it because you don't want to mess with it. I would never want to run the risk of messing with the control scheme to fit some other game on here that's not the marquee title. Me too. I think that's where it should go. That's where it's at. Personally, that's just where it's at. I don't even know that maybe they made a sit down version, but I don't remember it either, brother. I just remember the stand up. So I think that's what they should have done. But then again, these are just prototypes. This is probably just, to see if retailers would go for it. I don't know. But the fact that these made it to the prototype phase says something. It says that list was real, because these were games that they were going to try. This was the proposed list. And if it made it into prototype phase, it says something. Moving right along to a couple of cabs in these pictures. We got Paperboy, which thank God they finally decided to go legit and actually do a legitimate Paperboy cabinet. That's great. But what the hell do you do with Paperboy? Once again, it's like Paperboy's cool, and this is the way to play it, and it would have been the best way to play Paperboy. And this is obviously, you're looking at a Star Wars cab. It's got the Star Wars shape. And that's fine. This is mock-ups. This is prototypes. They got the Star Wars yoke, which is a good yoke. So this would have been, and that's no yoke. Excuse the pun. But I think that would have worked. That would have been cool. Would have been solid. And because that's a good controller. So, but once again, what do you do? It's not a Sega cabinet where you could have like Hang On and Super Hang On and motorcycle games. What do you do? I don't know. So just Paperboy. I guess it's the better way to play, but I don't know what else you would put on the cabinet. But this is one of those things where they're just throwing it out there. They got the feelers out there. They're checking it out. And of course, you have the other half of the Tetris cabinet, and this is interesting to have Tetris and Qbert on the same cabinet. You can see that that's a weird combination. And the picture on the side, on the right hand side, you can look at that riser and you can see clearly Tetris and Qbert. Right there. Is that the best combination? Well, obviously no, because you're talking about a joystick, a 4-way joystick that should be 45, right? You rotate that 45 degrees or 15 degrees, whatever the hell. You know what I'm talking about. You take it and you rotate it, right? And that's your Qbert stick. That's your Qbert cabinet. To sacrifice that for Tetris, because Tetris looks like the marquee title and Tetris is probably more popular, to sacrifice that control scheme for Tetris doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, could it have worked? I guess, but this would be more for the Tetris fans, not for the Qbert fans. And I think the Qbert fans, P-dubs, right there, would have felt slighted. It would have been a real weird kind of a cop-out, especially when you consider Tetris is such a simple game. I don't know. Just, do you rotate it the other way? Do you leave it in the Qbert orientation and try to play Tetris like that? I guess you could. And so instead of left, it would be what left and up would be left. So maybe if Qbert had the priority as far as the control scheme and Tetris was the other way, maybe that could have worked. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of strange. Doesn't make a ton of sense. But one thing that does make a lot of sense, I mean, just a ton of sense, is a super chat in the form of $10. Arcade Dave, thank you so much for your $9.99 super chat. Always appreciate your support of the channel. Fox, journalistic integrity and ability to crop a photo. Love it. It's a skill set that not everyone has, but I, over many, many years of training, have attained it. Here you go. And this is a good point. You can't judge it too harshly because these are prototypes. That just tells me they were excited. They were jazzed about the title, and they so much so that they wanted to build a prototype. So you really can't judge it too harshly. And maybe they didn't figure it all out completely. This is a good idea. Mad Gear Arcade, one joystick for Tetris, one joystick for Qbert. See, this is interesting because you're talking about 2 one-player games. So a 2-player deck for 2 single-player games. This guy, you're not mad at all. You're on to something. I think that would make sense. I mean, you could even have a graphic that divides the divides the control panel completely. Left hand is Tetris, right hand is Qbert. And because there's no, you got one button to change the rotation. You could take that button off to the left-hand side. I guess you could kind of center up. You could even take the Qbert joystick and put that in the dead center and maybe just have Tetris off to the side, maybe. Or maybe put them really close together because you're never going to have 2 people playing at the same time. I guess they could be really close together so you're kind of centered up in the cabinet no matter which game you're playing. That could have worked. I think that absolutely could have worked. Good idea. You should work for Arcade1up. You should help bring this stuff to fruition. Bring it out. It would have been awesome. Absolutely awesome. Okay, so moving on to this image right here. Pong. But an arcade-accurate Pong. This is kind of cool. I know it's not for everybody. I know it's just Pong. I know we got Pong in multiple different iterations. But if you're a arcade enthusiast and you want to have these little replicas in your house, these 3/4 scale representations, I think this is pretty cool. I love the wood grain. And Mike B made this point on his show or in his video when he talked about this. If you're going to do a eclectic sort of Atari, multicade, all focused on Atari games, this would be more of the way to go. I think that this looks really good. Now, I don't know if I would have bought it. If this was $500, would that actually work? I don't really know, but I think it looks good. I don't think it looks bad. I think that's if you want to lean towards arcade accurate, that's the way you want to go. That's absolutely the way you want to go. Okay, so that's Pong. That's all I have to say about Pong. Okay, let's talk about this one next. Let's talk about Smash TV. Also, another cabinet that everybody's just been dying for. Smash TV is what everybody wants. Smash TV won the first round of the March Madness Arcade Selection live stream I did. Smash TV was it. This was it. Now, I've got a sliver of a picture off to the right-hand side. I'm just trying to show you that they use it looks like it's the first Midway Legacy on the riser with the goofy wings. Remember that? Remember that first iteration? Not the best. Not the best at all, but that's what they were they were going with. So that's the footprint you're looking at. That weird control panel, it is what it is. But they were able to pull it off as far as the overall, style, I guess. The look of it, I think, is pretty good. And this kind of just proves that they could actually do it. Now, Eugene Jarvis and that interview that Travis did with Eugene Jarvis, that fueled the fire. I think I got really excited about it. A lot of us got really excited about a Smash TV. And when you have XL cabinets out there, come on, a Smash TV, especially if you can add Robotron and Total Carnage. And Eugene Jarvis was talking crazy. He was talking about online play with Robotron at like 10 people. You could do that with online play, a fairly simple game. That would have been nuts. But that's the kind of creativity I think these leaks are basically showing us that is missing. These leaks are from a while ago. This is like last year. This is like 2023. This is probably early 2023 before the list came out that we got a hold of. I just don't know that the creativity is there. I just don't see it. But this would be, I think, a good foot forward, a first step. But for me, the way to kill it, the way to really make your money back on this is to go ahead and get Robotron 2084, Smash TV, and Total Carnage, and you put that on an XL cabinet. And you really try to mimic, because it's not a crazy ass cabinet, it's not stupid crazy, the style and the size of that cabinet. So mimic that as best you can and do it in XL form factor. And Smash TV is where it's at, in my opinion. I got one more for you. And this is something you haven't seen before. I verified, checked, I double checked, triple checked. This, to me, is the most exciting. And it's a damn shame we never got to see these cabinets before. And don't be disappointed. All the details won't be revealed in this picture. But I'm going to tell you what I know about what's under. Well, you know what? I can't hold back anymore. This is not one cabinet. This is not two cabinets. This is three cabinets. This is three cabinets in a form factor we have never seen from Arcade1up. Don't be disappointed in the cloth over the cabinets. I know it's frustrating. What you're looking at is three full-size arcades. This is the only image I could get. Don't get mad at me. I'm sorry, but this is the best I could do. What you're looking at is three full-size cabs. The one on the left is Mortal Kombat. You can see the red T molding on the very bottom. The one in the middle is a full-size Big Blue. And the one on the far right is a full-size Star Wars. Now, you can see, if you take this image, you zoom in, on the bottom left-hand corner, you can see the Star Wars graphic on the bottom left-hand corner. Now, full-size, but only 19-inch monitors, that's the problem. They didn't have 25, there's no Unicode 26 in these, so they are 19-inch monitors. But these were full-size replicas. Yeah, I know, right? This is before that sweet Best Buy stuff blanket. That was not a thing yet. These were just sheets back in the day. But take a quick look. You can snap a pic. You can look at the cabinet on the right-hand side for scale. You can kind of see where we're at. These were three full-size They made these full-size 19-inch BOE monitors. And they were the best foot forward, right? Go with what you know is going to sell. Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2, Big Blue, and Star Wars. Where's the dogs? Where's the blue cooler? You remember that first image of Time Crisis when they had the blue cooler? Oh, sorry. The mic. Yeah, that's what we needed. And I show you this. And I know this is kind of disappointing because it's just a sheet. It could be anything under there. I know. I get it. I know the skepticism. I know the criticism. I get it. But I'm telling you, you're talking about full-size versions of three all-time classics, three cabinets that you and I both know would have absolutely sold. If you're talking about $1,000 for a Pro, what's going to make the most sense? Go with the freaking cabinets you know that would absolutely sell. Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2, and Star Wars should have been the way they went with Pro. I don't know why they didn't go with Pro. I don't know why they went with KI. I don't know why they did that. But if they could have gone full size, not Pro size, not XL size, full size, even though you got the 19-inch, it's not a 25. I get it. But think about this. And this is what gets me. This is what chaps my ass, guys. If we would have had a full-size cabinet, or something that's the height, the dimensions of a full-size cabinet. Knowing what we know now, having options out there, LCD options out there now, we could have put a bigger monitor in this and you're freaking done. I mean, come on, man. You would have been done. You'd have it. That would be the pinnacle. And then the only question is, what's next? What are they going to do next? What are they going to do next? So what does all this mean? All this stuff's coming out now. What does it mean? I think what it means is at the end of the day, Arcade1up had some good stuff cooking. They were in the back. They were cooking. They were doing stuff. And now I think, sadly, all this stuff that we knew we now know was in development is just not going to happen, guys. It would have happened by now. Some of this stuff would have happened by now. All this new stuff, some of it would have happened. You would have seen something. You would have seen anything on this list. Something could have popped and given us what we need. And it didn't. And I think that sadly, the creativity and the love for original arcades is just not there anymore. And so when you had the focus, the future being full-size representations, and listen, this is 2023. Can you imagine this moves forward? And maybe in 2025, if they would have continued to move forward and maybe partnered with Unico or somebody else, you could have gotten a 25-inch monitor. And now you have something you can go to bestbuy.com or Amazon and purchase a full-size representation of that original arcade cabinet. It's just insane. It's just insane. And it's sad that we're not moving towards that goal anymore. What we're moving towards now, if you look at Arcade1up's Instagram, their TikTok, their whatever, what we're stuck with, unfortunately, is collectorcades and more Pac-Man, footage. That's it. That's it. And to me, that's a damn shame, because there was a point where the company had they were moving in the right direction, in my opinion. Moving towards something I would have been jazzed about getting. Not just XL, but full-size cabinets. And starting with bangers. Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Star Wars. Yes, you would have been pissed that maybe you'd have to rebuy it because you already bought it in 3/4 scale. But in my mind, what a problem to have. Would you look at that?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
All right, once again, it is that time to go ahead and wrap it up. Members of the channel, you stay right here. You're going to be automatically redirected to the after show. We're going to talk about all this stuff, all this goodness. I may sprinkle a little more tidbits out there, let you know a few more secrets, but it's going to be a great conversation. If you're not a member, consider being a member today. It's only $5 a month. Hit the join button, become a member, check it out for a month. If you don't like it, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not gonna be mad at you if you don't re-up. It's okay. It's fine. But before we go, everybody, I'm going to talk to you about the poll question. Let's take a look at the poll question. It was simply this: of these four elite cabs, which one would you have been most likely, or which one would you have most likely purchased? Your options are 720, Spy Hunter, Smash TV, Paperboy. Going to end the poll right now. 196 votes. Thank you so much for everybody who decided to take the time to vote. And coming in at number 4 was 720. What? I get it. It's fine. 13% of you said 720. Coming in at number 3 with 15% of the vote was Paperboy. So coming in at number 1, what's it going to be? Is it going to be Spy Hunter? Will Spy Hunter win the day, or will Smash TV? Well, to no surprise, I think it is actually Smash TV with 51% of the vote. Smash TV smashes the competition. Once again, whether we're doing a poll on a Sunday night show or whether we're doing a dedicated show trying to determine the best cabinet for somebody to remake, Smash TV takes home the gold every single time. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. You have a blessed day. Have a blessed week. Don't work too hard. And I'll see all of you right back here for the 10K giveaway next week. I'll see you next time. Peace.